Hello everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day, depending on which part of the world that you're in watching us today. Um, I'm your humble host, F1 Ponza, on your screens again, here to disturb your weekend. I have here with me Nadia, the Queen, and she's going to be our guest today. So we're just going to have a conversation on women in STEM and get to know a bit more about her and what she's studying. Studying abroad as will take the majority of our conversation, but obviously steering into women in STEM as she about her um, and we will further discuss the future of women in STEM. So this is changing the narrative. If this is your first time, we invite guests and we talk mainly on changing the narrative when it comes to education, studying abroad. And today we're here to also have another conversation. So without wasting much more time, you can watch us on YouTube as well. I've just clicked the link. I've just added the link. If you've got any questions as the conversation is going, put it in the comment section. Keep the comment section busy, and then we'll do well to answer your questions, either to do with the conversation that we're having or anything to do with changing the narrative and so on and so forth. So, without rattling on, Nadia, what up? So,
Yeah. Hello.
if you can,
Thank
how are you
you.
doing today?
I'm okay. I trust you're also doing well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm great. I'm great. It's nice to have you. Thanks for honoring our invitation to join us
Uh,
today.
It's a pleasure.
Right. So, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself, that would be great.
Okay, so my name is Nadia Bekoe, and I have a bachelor's degree in agricultural engineering from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And I recently started my master's in biosystems engineering at Oklahoma State University. I started in January, so I'm like almost 8 months into my study here. And it's been an amazing experience. Currently, I am the vice president for the African Students Organization, where we promote our diverse cultures. Yes, so that is the little I can say about me. Yeah, thank you for.
Nice. Thank you very much. So you're pretty, like, I'd say, is it halfway? You're more halfway because master's is normally a year, so you're halfway.
Well, mine is 2 years. Masters
Oh,
in the
okay.
US usually 2 years. Yeah,
All right.
I think it's the
Okay.
UK that is mostly a
Is one
year.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're still quite early into it. How are you
Yeah.
finding it so far?
It's been amazing. It's been stressful. It's been it's been a lot, but the experience has been like
It's
it's
worth
worth
it.
it. Yeah, yeah,
Good, great. I mean, every time I ask people, how's your master's going? Or how's your graduate, I laugh and at the same time because I know what is coming. You can always sort of guess what the answer is going to be. But everyone also seemed to be enjoying it, which is good. So glad.
yeah.
Well, so you're studying agriculture engineering, right? Or you studied?
I studied agricultural engineering, but my degree now is what I'm studying now is biosystems engineering.
Okay, so you got like you just love to do engineering. Without wasting much more time, I'm gonna dive straight into engineering when it comes to female because I think I told you this. It's one of those things, right, that I'm fascinated about, but I don't think I'm clever enough to do it because it's I've
Uh,
seen a few books and stuff and it looks quite technical. So why engineering?
okay, so then I'll just have to go talk a little bit about my background. So I used to read these flat storybooks back in Ghana. We used to have these flat storybooks when I was very young, and I used to read them a lot. So when I was in, I think class five or something, primary five, and I was reading one called Kofi Baboni, and my teacher saw me reading it, and she was like, "We don't even read good books. What is like Kofi Babon?" And and it was so embarrassing. So like, I don't know, but then the joy to read and everything just left. I didn't like reading anymore.
Fair enough.
So, and at that same time, I also had another teacher who I think I got 80 something in maths. And he came to mention names of like 5 people who did well, and my name was Pat. So, like, I really wanted to continue doing well in maths. And
Right.
yeah, he took notice of me. I used to mark some of the papers and all that. So I started developing very great interest in maths. Like I love solving math problems. Yeah, so that was
Geek.
how it
You're
was.
just a geek.
Yeah, that was how it was. And I went to SHS, and I still. So when I was going to SHS, I wanted to choose like a business program because now I was interested in solving maths. But they told me business is not just about calculation. There's more
Mm.
into reading than into the calculation aspect. So I decided to go for science since that one there'll be elective maths, there'll be physics, there'll be, but I still didn't like reading a lot. So that was why I went to do science in my SHS. And during science, I actually wanted to pursue a career in the sciences, like in the health sciences, because
Okay.
my mom loved like young doctors and nurses. When we take her to the hospital and she sees them, she can be healed, even without getting treatment. So I
That
wanted
is
to be,
interesting.
yeah, I wanted to be that just for her, but I chose science in Legon, Kenya. They didn't give me. I chose like biological science, those health
Mm.
science, laboratory health science stuff. But they didn't give me admission for any of them. And I got admitted in Legon to do mathematics. But I chose
Wow.
agric engineering at Legon, and I didn't get it. But they gave me maths, which was my second choice or something. And I Kenya sent me an email saying like your grades are okay, but these are the options that your grades will fit in. And
Mm.
agric engineering was part of them. So I was like, since Legon didn't give me agric engineering, why don't I just choose agric engineering at KNUST? Yeah, so it wasn't like a decision to just go into engineering. I would say it was more like circumstances, and and one thing
Right.
too, I really didn't know what I wanted to do for myself at that point. I just wanted to do something because let's say my mom loves people like that, so I wanted to be that for her, but I really didn't know what I wanted to be. And going into agricultural engineering, I didn't know what it was about, but I decided to read a bit about it before going into
Mm.
it. And I realized it was everywhere. Like there was a bit of mechanical engineering in it, civil engineering. Like you are doing a bit of all the engineering disciplines. So I really, really loved it, and I don't regret it a single bit. I'm so glad because if I had gone into the science, I don't know, the health science, I don't know how it would have been, but I love it, and it was at least the calculations were always there. So yeah,
Wow. Wow.
was
Yeah.
that was my background into engineering. Yeah.
That's good to hear. So again, it has been established that you're a geek because you like maths, which is what most
Yeah.
girls run away from. And I think that's why we have, because I mean with engineering and your sciences is a lot of the physics, the chemistry, the maths, which majority of women try to stay away from. I think it's because we've told ourselves we're not great at it and we just like to read. So we sort of traditionally have steered into other stuff and then, stayed away from STEM. But I'm glad to see how society is, encouraging women to go that route and encourage women who are clever or smart in that sense to pursue that sort of career, which is not as traditional as your nurses and your office and your secretary and your lawyers
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. Yeah. I do admire women that are into maths. I mean, I just I wouldn't say I struggled with maths, but I didn't love it. It wasn't something I just wanted to just breeze through it and leave it behind when I don't need it. If you ask me what I've done with algorithms, I don't know. But then it does help you with your critical thinking. I think this is what we all
Yeah.
tend to not realize, that whether you liked math or not, it's we still use it. It might not be numbers as it is, but our brains have picked up certain ways of thinking when it comes to problem solving. And I think maths has done a great has played a great part in it. Not everyone will agree, but I think it's true though for me. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
because yeah, when you think about it, it helped you it helped me with my critical thinking or played part into it. So agriculture engineering, what what did you learn, and would you encourage females to sort of take it up? Does it have a
yeah.
future, or do women have future in agriculture engineering? First of all, tell us what it is about, and then you answer that question.
Okay, so I would say agricultural engineering is actually a very broad field, and it's it has like very small disciplines that come together to form like the broad picture of agricultural engineering. So we
Mm,
have one aspect that has to do with agricultural machinery. So it's more of mechanical engineering where we build machines. We have where we learn about agro-environmental stuff, the environment, water quality and stuff. And we have the soil and water that has to do with irrigation, planting, and we have the I don't know if we have like the animal where people go into animal, but this because of the engineering side, these are the four major ones that I know we have. Yes. So well, I did a bit of everything because I was studying agricultural engineering as a whole. But after studying the agricultural engineering, you can decide to further or do your master's in agricultural engineering, but you'll be specializing in maybe a particular field. So for KNUST, we have maybe masters in soil and water engineering, masters in agricultural machinery, masters in maybe agro-environmental engineering, and masters in bioengineering. Yes. So, and it's more like the same here in Oklahoma State University because the department is biosystems and agricultural engineering department, but the degree is biosystems engineering. But I am more of specializing in the bioenergy sector. Yeah,
okay.
so that is basically what agricultural engineering is. And I would say, yes, I would encourage a lot of females to take it up because it's it's just a broad field. And after that, I believe you can venture into every aspect of engineering if you want to, because you are exposed to a lot of things and
Mm,
you can branch into any engineering. I can decide to go and do civil engineering because I had a background and I did courses in that field. And I can go into machinery because I have a background. I did courses in that field, and even my final year project was more in line with machinery. So
mm.
it's interrelated and it's offers you like a broad picture. Just as some people say it's difficult because we are more like learning pieces and bits from like everywhere, but it's good. It's a very great course. I enjoyed it and I'm still like loving it. Yeah.
Wow, sounds very interesting. Again, I've always loved the the knowledge around engineering or engineers. Whenever I've seen engineers with having to build stuff from scratch, I've listened to you talk about machinery and stuff. It's very exciting to hear it. And yeah, it's great to see. So with agriculture, right? I do love agriculture, but not the machinery aspect of it, as you can tell, because I've not got the brains for it. However, I do love to see women get into agriculture as it is. So to see women in the engineering side of it is going to be one that I'll be looking out for. Women not
Yeah.
just getting into agriculture, but actually the engineering side of it in terms of innovation, and bringing up new ideas and effective ways of agriculture. It will be great to see what the future holds in that side, especially on our continent.
Yeah.
it would be great to see, because again, it's very men heavy when it comes to
Mhm.
those, that side of career path. It's very male dominated, so it would I would love to see how what the future holds for women, especially those that have gone as far as masters and even PhDs and so on, just getting in the field and helping out in that side. It will be great to see. And I've come across a few females that are very much into it, and I'm kind of very excited for the future of agriculture and how far
Yeah.
women are willing to take the lead when it comes to that. I've got a few people in the comment section. So if you're just joining us, thank you very much for joining. I'm with Nadia. We've started off with Nadia introducing herself and what she does, or what she studied in Ghana with agricultural engineering, and what she's doing now in the biosystems in the US. We're talking about the future of women in STEM, and we're just building up the conversation. So if you joined us, you've not missed a lot, but it's getting interesting. Getting into the nitty gritty of women in STEM and STEM as a whole, the future of it. Hilda, thanks for joining. Chrissy,
Good.
Chris York. Thank you. We've got identical nose. I mean, we're from we're from the same part of the world, or the continent. So yeah, we will take that as a compliment. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining. And I don't even know what to say again. Thanks, Chrissy. We appreciate you and your support. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Right. So back to our conversation. So let's come to opportunities when it comes to being back home in Ghana and being overseas. Is this is do you I know you've literally started, however, your few say months in the US, and is it 4 years in Ghana, right? When it comes to undergrad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 4 years going through undergrad and a few months in the US. Can you tell us the pros and cons, like so far? So let's take the educational system in Ghana. What you
Okay.
studied in the 4 years, right? And the
Yeah.
few months that you've been in the US. Even though it's masters and one is undergraduate, I mean, it's the way I would say I'm heading, or the question is towards the faculty, the way that we teach, the resources available, because I did a little bit of schooling in Ghana. And then when I came to the UK, I had to quickly adapt, because the way of learning is different in so many ways. And even the way they teach is different in so many ways.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say? What are the opportunities like back home as compared to the US? I think this is the best way to put the question.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try and answer that. So I would I would say that for the US, or particularly from where I am,
Mm,
I've seen, or let me say Ghana, the people in a particular classroom are so dense. So lecturers don't really have time for students like here.
mm,
But even here, for you also have to make yourself known to the lecturer, else they just come, they teach, and they leave.
and they
And
go.
that's the same thing in Ghana. It's just like they teach and they leave, they explain concepts. If you don't ask questions, they will not, they will just teach what they have to teach and they go. Unless you have questions, you go and meet them. And I believe in Ghana too, it's something similar, just that Ghana, the people in the classroom are a lot. So
Mm,
they can't attend to everyone, which is one of the cons about studying. And another thing too was the fact that here there's something called cheat sheets. I don't know if it's every lecturer who does it, but you don't necessarily have to memorize long formulas and stuff. Some courses in Ghana they provide formula sheets, but some don't. You have to chew everything. But here,
Mm.
you can send that cheat sheet to help you solve questions. And because their questions are more of critical thinking questions, so you have to think to be able to answer them. Yeah, so those are some of the things here. And here, even with undergrads, they involve themselves in lab works and projects, and that is something that we don't usually do in Ghana. And I still stand on the fact that it's because we are a lot in the classrooms. Yeah. So, and we have like more student to faculty ratio in Ghana than we do have here. So it will be very difficult for lecturers, even when it comes to the final year project, you wouldn't see, the lecturers are not even like able to have the same attention for every student, because the students assigned to them are a lot and they have other responsibilities to attend to. So those are some of the things. But when you come here, you get exposed to a lot of things. Like there are a lot of resources available for you to use. You can, if you want to maybe get hands-on experience, the only thing you have to do is to talk, and
Mm.
you'll be given that opportunity. But back home, I think it's just because the resources are not available. And
Mm.
I don't know if it is the school that don't make it available, because when you go to some private universities in Ghana, they have everything available for you to use. So I think it's because the private schools, they charge more, so they make it
Mhm.
available.
Mhm.
But the government schools, they don't invest, they don't invest that much money, because we are not paying that much for those services. So that is what I would say. And yeah, that is what I believe it is. Because those private institutions in Ghana, like Ashasi University and other private universities, they you pay a lot. So they give you
You
the
you get what you pay for.
the resources. So yeah, you get what you paid for. Yeah, and that is, it's more like that is the same thing here. But in the US, well, I always stand on the fact that you have to ask to get, because if you don't ask, you will still be lost here.
Mm.
If you don't, there are a lot of resources available. If you don't ask, you wouldn't know. And if you don't know, you can't use them. So it will just be like you are still in the dark. So you still have
Mm.
to ask to know. And now, when I was coming to write my exams, my first semester exam, I didn't know anything about that cheat sheet. So I was always chewing the formulas. Like I
Wow.
was always homeless, like back in Ghana. And my first exam, second exams, I didn't use any cheat sheet. I see people looking, and in my mind, I'm like, are they cheating? But yes, it's a cheat sheet. But because I didn't know, I didn't
Mhm.
ask, I was still lost. And I am thinking, hey, these people are cheating. There's a lecturer in the class, they are cheating, and no one is seeing them. But that is because that is the system here. They are allowed to bring like maybe a maximum of 2 pages of cheat sheets to the
Wow.
exams hall. It's allowed. So it was when I was coming to write the final exam, and the Nigerian friend in the class told me about it, and I brought it. So if you don't ask, you'll still be in the dark, and you
Mhm.
think things are still. So I'd say you have to ask to know. The children, poor, we've done it in Ghana, so we are bringing it to. Yeah, so that is something I'd say. There are opportunities, but you have to ask to know. Otherwise,
Mm.
you wouldn't know. Yeah, those are, yeah.
Because I remember chew poor pass and forget.
Yeah, we chew and we come and pour. Like you have to chew the formula. Remember one of my courses back in Ghana. Every slide had a new formula, and you have to chew and go and write. So you have to chew and know there isn't this formula for this question. And if you don't do that, you're going to fail. And sometimes
Mhm.
we have this Pasco, we go and chew. Oh God, it was terrible. But it was terrible, yeah. So, but here is
Right.
different. You
Mm.
will not even see a question appearing like twice, even if they are bringing it, they are changing. Well, that is from my experience from the courses I took last semester. We solve a lot of questions, but you wouldn't see it the same thing appearing in your exam.
Mm.
The exam, you have to think to solve, you have to think to know I am using this formula for this question. Yeah, so They say it's easy here, but I'll say it's still the same. Like you have to really understand before you
Understand.
can answer the question. Yeah, so it's not so easy. It's not an easy education system. It's very, yeah, dense. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I think I can relate to it. I know I might not have had um the longest period of education in Ghana, but I totally understand when it comes to the true poor pass and forgets. Even when my brother joined us, he was like, how do you survive here? And it's like you just don't true poor pass and forget anymore. You just have to understand what the teacher is saying, know how to apply it to the question, and that's it. And I think that's how we should learn anyway, because then after school, you might have to know how to understand content that you're consuming to be able to apply it. And then he was like, okay, now you're turning into a brainy. I was like, no, I'm not turning into a brainy. I just
Yeah, but
understood what it is all about. And maybe that's why we're lacking behind, because we've been sort of we're too focused on just do it to pass your exams, know it to pass the exam. And then after you've passed the exams, you realize you've not really learned anything. So what's the point?
yeah,
Where
but
you
I
have
I still
Mhm.
it's because there are a lot of people in the class. So let's say a lecturer gives a question and he has to mark it, and he is teaching like three classes, and he is giving a question where they have to write. He has to sit down and read to mark. Those are some of the things that makes it difficult for them to
it's
like
part of their job.
set.
It's part of the job.
Yeah, it's part of the job, but then if you are doing something like that, then you should make sure, because I'm not going to bring maybe 300 students from one class,
Mm.
and let's say 300 in each class. You're teaching three classes. You are getting 900 students, and I have to mark everything in, let's say, less than a month
But
to
that's when things
produce results. It's,
assistantships and stuff comes in though. They normally don't turn
yeah,
to mark all
it's
of the
it's
all
and
of
if
those.
if
Even
you
out
are
here.
you are having you are having, let's say, just one teaching assistant
Hmm.
for national service. You're having just one teaching assistant for that, or two, and they have to be read. That is why now they use the multiple choice, A B C
Yeah,
D choose.
it's a
Yeah, that
quicker
is
way
why
to
they
mark.
use those things, and they keep, because they can't be setting new questions. They can do, but I think it's all because of maybe their responsibilities and tight schedules, because some
Hmm.
lecturers in Ghana actually do that. But here I believe it's because of the less number of people in the class, so they get time to do all those things. And yeah, yeah, that's it.
Interesting view. Yeah, I still have my I wouldn't say doubts, but my concerns when it comes to not just in Ghana. I think it's Africa as a whole, because there are a lot of brilliant people when they do travel outside. They start doubting themselves. They become stressed because they're not used to the new way of learning. Because the cheap
Yeah,
pass and forget is not helping anymore.
yeah. I've
And
been
mhm.
I've been challenged to think when I came here, like think, because it's like they can ask a general question,
Mm,
and you just ask me your question, but sometimes you are forced back home. You read a textbook, maybe a matter is this and this and that and that. You read it from the textbook, so when you are going this and this and that and that, but here you are challenged to think beyond what matter is, because you're asking me a question. So you've read this. Do you think this is what it actually is?
mm.
You have to bring your views. No. Why, if you even say yes, why do you think it is? You've read it in the book, all right. But the
Yes.
book was limited. Let's say they've done a research, and the research, they are saying they did the test for 30 days. And after 30 days, they are concluding that maybe something is degradable. Why is it degradable? Why are they saying? You
Mm.
can't just say it's because when you read the thing they said it is degradable. No.
That's what the
Why?
researchers
From
said.
Yeah, that is why there is a. So from your point, what you see in the natural environment, would you say it is degradable? Because they were doing it in a controlled environment. So in the natural environment, are you going to say it is degraded? You now have to sit down and think, like, what is this? Yeah,
Yes.
so you are
And I
challenged
think
to
I
think.
think that's why a lot of innovation comes from outside,
Yeah,
because you're allowed to think outside the box. And
yeah.
again, this is why when it comes to our continent, we're very just and we're always waiting for. I would say, let me even take it out of the classroom, and when we come out, let's say we are graduate, we're done with our first
Mm-hmm.
class and your distinction and valedictorian and whatnot, and then you're employed and you're expecting this individual to actually think outside the box, and they're struggling. So then you said to yourself,
Yeah.
how then did you do so well? Because aside
Yeah.
what you read, it looks like you don't know anything else on apart from what you've read. And I think this is our
Mm-hmm.
limitation, and this has got to stop. That's my opinion, though. I don't know about. Let us
Well,
hear from
I've
you.
had
If you're listening, let's hear from you in the comment section. I think that is why that is what we're lacking as a continent. But there's a lot of potential. So I've seen a few guys even in the rural areas, using scraps and stuff to come up with, but they just need more, obviously more resources. But the fact that you're having these individuals, one in how many ever numbers, the potential is there. We just need to now put it in our education system, because I've even heard a lot of people that have been in the education system in Ghana complain that it's not fit for purpose anymore. And I've always said
mm,
this, but then again, when you say it, people are like, it's only because you've been away for so long. I still thought that way when I was back home, because as soon as you ask the teacher a question like, so why is this way, they sort of get offended, or some of them can get angry
yeah,
with you for asking those sort of
they do.
questions.
I
I did
remember.
get in trouble a lot when when I was in school back then.
Yeah, yeah. I remember
Yeah.
one time my friend was trying to tell a teacher he was wrong, like the answer was wrong back in primary school. And the teacher sacked her from his class that she shouldn't come to the class again. So we
Look
were
at
all
this.
now more like scared to ask a question or say, no, this is what we read. Why are you saying this? Because you get it. And
Yeah.
there are things that happen. Because of the environment and everything, you are even so scared to express your views
Mm,
because
mm,
like it might even it may show maybe you are not reading, you are not learning, or yeah. So we barely do ask questions, and those are some of the things that when I came here, I decided to stop. Yeah. So when I came here, I still think it's because of the environment, the way
mm.
we are like. You always say yes when another person tell you do this, you do it. Do this,
Yeah.
you do it. Even when you are having issues, you can't communicate it because like that is how we've been raised. That is the environment we find ourselves in. So it becomes very difficult. But
Mm,
here, if if you bring that attitude here, I'll say you always be the one falling behind. Yeah, because
mhm,
a teacher
mhm.
can be teaching and someone will just raise, why is this way? And the teacher will have to pause and explain. You can't say the person should go and read because, yes, it's your job to explain. So they pause, they explain it, and we move on. If
Yeah.
you need further explanation, you go and meet the lecturer in the office during their office hours and they explain it better. Yeah, so
And I
those are
think
the
they
things I
actually
believe
love
is just.
the lecturers, or teachers have here. I think they love to hear people's opinions and what they think. Again, to
Yeah,
enhance
yeah.
critical thinking. Because I remember looking at a few of the essays that I've written so far. There were times where I literally didn't, after work, you're just so tired and you have to do your coursework or your homework, and you just basically just write whatever it is that you've read in your own words, and that's where you get the lowest mark,
Mm-hmm.
not because you didn't know, but because the teacher can realize or can see you've not really added your own touch to it. You've literally just read
Yeah.
the reading material and you've just summarized it in your own words, and they don't. it's not like you're wrong or anything, but somebody who then digest it and add their own
Mhm.
understanding and even try to um, argue against their own opinions is what gets the marks. That is what they love to see, which I think is a good way. It helps you with even when you're outside school, because at work it's not like you're challenging authority, but it's more or less being able to bring your ideas in solving problems or issues, which we've got a lot in the world now. So back to innovation. Now that we've set the ball rolling on the way we think and how we tackle issues,
Yeah.
engineering, um, whether it's agriculture or any sort of civic engineering, mechanical engineering, any sort of engineering. So now that we've sort of agreed with, or we've come to some sort of agreement on our way of teaching, our way of thinking, the resources available, and so on and so forth. Looking at it's I mean, comparing US to Ghana, it's a bit of an unfair comparison. However, looking at what we have back home in not just Ghana, like in Africa as a whole, where or how do you see the continent? Or if you want to limit it to Ghana, that's fine, because I know you've got that background as well when it comes to being in school. Where do we stand a chance in I wouldn't say compete, but in terms of coming up with innovation, solving our issues. I mean, we've got a lot of it back home, like I'm saying. If we can't think outside the box and we're very fixated on what we're told to do, where does that leave us when it comes to innovation and bringing these ideas together to actually solve a problem, which
Well,
is
I
what
think,
engineering is about anyway.
yeah, I think there are some people who actually go out of their way to think outside the box. And that is when they are being challenged to do something. So let's say we are doing our final year projects, for instance,
Mm,
and we are you are being funded. And one thing too is about investment. If someone is given or putting money into something, let's say I'm paying for this, the person I'm paying the money to will be willing to do everything just to give me the results that I'm looking for. So
mm,
say my final year project, for instance, my final year project was funded. It was fully funded, and we were working with I was working with people from mechanical engineering and people from Koforidua Technical University. So we had to come together. Everything was paid for. Our internship was paid for. Then we came together. Food was paid for, and we had to like brainstorm to bring the project to life. So if these things, but if let's say I was going to use my money for everything, I would
mm,
decide to do something that will not require a lot of money. So I would decide to go and do a survey work that I can just go from here to here. And those are some of the things that doesn't make people come out to just say think, because even when some people have ideas, they go and pitch for funds so that they'll be able to
mm,
implement what they have gotten. And it doesn't necessarily mean that what they have done will work, because they
mm.
haven't really tried it out. But they
Yes.
need money to buy the things to be able to see if it will work or not. And if they are able to do it, then that is where they find out, oh, I have to fix here, I have to fix here. But
Mm,
we can have the ideas, we don't have the money to implement it, and we wouldn't know if it works or not. So because we don't have the money, we can't really think outside and see if it will work or not. But here in the US, they invest in projects,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and they know Africans, or let's say, yes, let me limit it to Africa or Asia, they know they are smart. So that is why they are willing to fund students to come and study here and just contribute to their project, and it stays in the US. Because my final year project, it was funded by the Royal Academy of Engineers, and they were working with the higher something in Ghana.
mm,
So because they want that project to be done, and they know, let's say, people from Africa, they are smart, they come there, they put the money into it. We want you to do this project, that project. Yes, you bring it. We present a report to them. They have a report of, let's say, how we did it and all those kind of things. And yes, they use it for whatever they want to use it for. They are investing money to just make sure things are becoming innovative and all those kind of things. So if we don't invest money, people are not willing to, they may be doing it for themselves. Let's say they have a business idea, but it's all about getting money to implement it. Other than that, no one can really go out of their way to think. I'll
Mm.
put it that. Yeah, because
Oh,
right now, for instance, we come here to do our masters, and let's say if your masters is being funded,
mm,
you have to do something. So you have to make sure what you are doing works. You, whether you like it or not, you have to make sure what you are doing works. Even if it's not working, you have to find out why it is not working. So you have to think, because if you are not able to provide that result, you are going back to your home country, and you don't want to do that. So, and
wow.
even if you are done studying here, you still have to, like when you want to file for your NIW, your other thing, you have to show to them why you deserve to continue to be here. And it all comes down to what you are doing here. So you have to now tell them, I have done this, I have done that, and when you people tell me to stay here, I can contribute to this, I can contribute to that, and they can let you stay. So it's like I'm giving them reasons why you should stay. But
Mm.
back home, the only reason is you need to get a degree and leave. So people are not like, I'll just do something small that will let me leave the school. You get it? I'm not
Yeah.
willing, unless someone is willing to invest into it. Other than that, so people get projects that they have to really use their money. Let's say a supervisor will tell you, go and look for the chemical for this that you are doing chemical, and they have to do lab work. They are using their money, thousands
Mhm.
cedis to go and do lab work and all that. They don't really have the interest because everything is coming from their pockets, and they don't have money. Students don't have money, so those are some of the things that I believe don't make us like really go out of our way to do big things. Yeah,
Mm.
because I can't remember, there was one project I really wanted to work on because I was planning on doing my masters in Ghana. I wasn't planning on traveling, and there was a proposal I really wanted to work on. I spoke to my mentor and he was like, this is a very great idea, but he doesn't think they have like some of the resources to be able to implement this project. And how I'm not going to go out of my way to go and use money to be doing something when I don't even know if it will work or not.
Mm.
So I
Mm.
wouldn't do that. I wouldn't proceed. I'll just leave it there and look for something else that will make me get my master's degree and leave. So those are some of the things that I would say don't really, it limits us. Yeah. It's just limit
Yes.
because we don't have, but if someone is willing to like pay the money, let's say someone is giving you a scholarship for you to come up with this, you will do it because you want the scholarship. Yeah.
Mm.
So that is it.
Interesting view. I've actually picked a one or two from what you've said, and it is true. I mean, when money is invested in these things, it does help with, it eases of that pressure. So this is why there's
Yeah.
a lot of funding and scholarships available for people to come and use their brains, should I say, or even
Mhm.
experiment to find solutions to these problems that um, we are looking to solve. So again, it comes to the question of, you mentioned something. You said when you finish your degree and you've done the research and whatnot, now you have to leave and come back home, but they've got your research or your final outcome. So where does that leave us? When I say
Well,
us, in terms of being in Africa, how do we bridge, especially with females, since our conversation is on females, how do we bridge that gap? I mean, there's hardly any funding, if there's any, for us to break through, or um, find innovation and skill sets, to solve the questions or the problems. So then, where does that leave us? Would you still encourage people to move outside, and when you do come in and you still don't have that resources or the money, it's as if you've gone to get that knowledge and still not have nothing, or can barely do anything with what you've learned. So where do you see the future? What was the how do we sort of bridge that gap? How do we make use of what we've studied? Well, how do we come up with funds and so on and so forth? I think it's a broad question that I'm
Yeah.
asking, but the
Okay.
this in summary, coming abroad to study where you've been able to get the funding to sort of think outside the box. So after that, what's next?
So even I would say everything depends on you. Even back home in Ghana, even if you are getting a degree or something, after that, it all depends on you. It all depends on the things you are putting in place. So right now, I am doing my masters. After my masters, I'm done. If I don't get to do, let's say there's something called OPT, I don't really know much about it because I'm
Mm,
still a few months or half a month into my masters. So out you have like a year to do like OPT, and OPT you are trying to look for a job where they can retain you so that you can continue being in the US. If after that 1 year OPT you still don't get a job or something, then you are going back to your home country. So right now, because your my master's year is done, so if I am done with my master's, or let's say early next year, I have to start either looking for a place that I would want to do my PhD, or I start looking for a place that I want to go and work.
mm,
And it all depends on me. There are opportunities here, but you have to find them. So no one is coming to tell you you are in US. So oh, after that everything is settled. You are in US. It's not the. It's not like that. Just that here there are opportunities. You still have to fish them out. No one is coming to put it on a plate for you and serve you to eat. You have to find it. You have to look for a spoon to come and eat it. So I'd say you come here, you get opportunities to come here, but your work, it is not the end. You still, if you want to get your green card, you still have to find like money, going to people to help you like put your documents together, doing it yourself to be able to get your green card, which can extend your stay here for I think 10 years or something. So I don't know, but I'd say it still depends on you. You have to take internships to be able to know companies. You have to connect with people so that certain things may be easy for you. Yeah,
mm,
rather than doing everything from scratch, because some have already done it. So you just have to ask them how did they do it so that you will get some shortcuts and not start the process all over again. So I still stand on the fact that there are opportunities here, but you have to find them because people are here. People are still not getting jobs to do.
mm, mhm,
People are still like struggling. So it all depends on you. Nowhere is cool, honestly, but just that sometimes some conditions and some system makes things like quite easier,
mm,
and that is what is found in the US because we have companies, but some companies don't even employ people who don't have their green card. So it makes it difficult for you to get an opportunity to go into such a company. And yeah, so I would say those are some of the things when you come here. So bridging that gap, personally, let's say me for instance, I am almost a year into my master's degree. So I have to start looking for maybe a school to do my PhD early next year, and I'll
mm.
start applying. So that is one of my options. Or I start maybe looking for a place that I can go and work to sending in application. So still I'm coming to do application here. Yeah. So still I'm coming to do application here. It's not as if I came here, I studied, so they'll come and tell you, oh, you are good, come and work with us. Well, it may happen, but that is if you put yourself out there and if you are extraordinary. That is when they'll come and say, oh, you are good, come and do this for us. Oh, you are good, come and do this for us. Yes, but other than that, you still have to go through the process again to be able to like get yourself to where you want to see yourself. Yeah,
Mm.
so that is what I have to say. Well, I haven't
Well,
started applying, so I can't really say if it's easy to get opportunities or not. But yeah,
Right, let's engage with our listeners. So yeah, thank you very much for those that are listening here on LinkedIn and on YouTube. Thanks for your time. So we're here with Nadia. With we've sort of merged, or we've talked about a lot of things in this conversation, with how we learn back home in Ghana, how we learn. I've not studied in the US, but as in outside in the Western countries, the difference, engineering, STEM, you know, after your education and so on. So thank you all who are who've joined us and still here with us. So in the comment section, Hadiza, Chris York, laugh out loud. What an interesting observation. I know, right? Tell me about it. Even I've actually been focusing on our noses for a while now, trying to pinpoint the similarities. So Theophilus says, such an inspiring show. I'm excited to join this show. Kudos, Efua and Nadia. Keep up the good work. You're strong. Thank you very much for your kind words, Theophilus. We appreciate you. Mabel, Chu and Po. I tell you, Mabel, this Chu Po, yeah, I had issues back home in Ghana, but here we are. We've moved on. Priscilla, wow, this event is really interesting and insightful. Thank you very much. I'm glad that people are finding or learning something out of this conversation. And this is why we do what we do, changing the narrative. It's all about finding perspective and learning together, as always, from our guests. So thank you very much. Nadia, happy to see you speak. You're rocking it, girl. That's from Augusta. Thank you very much for all the shouts out to Nadia. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this conversation. She's such a great guest to have. And if you are not following Nadia, kindly do so, because she said, I'm having a tongue twister here. She shares a lot of opportunities on on her page. So kindly join. And I've read a lot of newsletters, and it's very insightful. If especially if you're looking to study abroad, I would encourage you to subscribe to it and have a read. There's a lot that you will learn from it, because I've read a few of the articles, and it's very inspiring. It's very you need it. You will take something out of it. I have a saying that we don't all have to suffer, or we don't all have to struggle from the same thing. But then again, it's only if you read, it's only if you ask, it's only if you research, it's only if you put yourself out there. That's the only time or way of alleviating yourself from going through a similar pain, because people are actually now sharing the information out there. So it's left for you to do with it what you can and what you have to. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us, Nadia, and I am enjoying this conversation. You've actually touched on a lot of great aspects of our conversation that it's great to have your perspective on these topics, and I am enjoying it myself. So thank you very much for sharing this. So now we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back on ourselves since we've had this conversation. So how did you find your opportunity to study abroad?
Okay, so actually, I didn't know much about this study abroad, grad school application stuff. Because I had my own business. I was sewing, so I wanted to
Mm,
like expand it, make sure it gets to a certain level. So I was planning to do my masters in KNUST, and then maybe I'm ready for my PhD, I come and
mm,
do it abroad. So
okay.
I wasn't really into like those study abroad stuff, but with time, I was advised to try.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a whole lot. Like it is a whole lot. I can start an application and I'm like, what? You have to, some of them you have to like write some things in a comment, like they provide a box you have to write. So I stopped like all applications. Yeah. And I was just sending emails out when I realized like there's something called code emails. I just sent
Mm,
emails out, and sometimes when I see that a lecture or a professor needs students, I just send an email out. I wasn't getting responses, but I wasn't actually bothered because it was maybe my plan to go outside.
mm, mm,
So I sent emails out, And I was fortunate to get 3 positive responses. Like I'm in office because I got
That's great.
some other positive responses, but they were one way or the other. So I got like 3 offers, and here was one of them. Oklahoma State University was one of them. Yeah, so with one, I had an interview that was in Canada. I had an interview, but with Oklahoma State University, I didn't have any interview. My advisor just
Okay.
sent me an email that, oh, he likes my profile and he would like I'm a good fit for the department, so I can put in an application. So that was when I went to apply, and yes, I paid an application fee. I was actually considering or thinking if I should request for a waiver, and someone was like, they are willing to work with you. So it's like they buying a house for you and you saying they should buy you toothpaste. I had to like, yeah,
Interesting.
find way and pay the application fee, and here I am. And I actually also love the projects here, so I decided to go for it. And
Hmm.
and the third opportunity that I got through cold emails, that one I sent the cold email in May and got a response in November.
Wow.
The response in November, which was like, so it means they actually see what you sent to them, but probably they are not having that funds at that moment, or they are not recruiting at that moment, so they
That is
just
very
got,
true.
yeah. So that was how I got my opportunity. And sometimes I say I don't really have that much experience with application because I didn't do applications.
Hmm.
So mine was more into code emails. That's why um I stress more on code emails than application because I don't have much experience with application because I didn't do it. Yeah, so that was it. I even got my passport later after everything had come, my funding letter had come and everything. It was hell. Yeah, I got my
Hmm.
passport in like November and I came in December ending. So
Wow.
yeah,
That was
it was,
rapid.
yeah, and it's actually a very, you need to work. I remember I spent, when I decided to do this, because it wasn't even just for study abroad, it was for other scholarship packages. So when I was working on my statement of purpose, I used like 2 3 months. I'm always like making changes.
Hmm.
'Cause today it sounds right, tomorrow it doesn't
You read
sound,
it again, it doesn't.
yeah, that doesn't sound right. So I had to like be changing things like all over and over again. If I have my emails, I have like different, depending on who I'm sending it to, what I really want to explain so that they understand. And sometimes I just send a short, I'm interested. This is what I have. Attaches my CV, my transcripts. I don't really stress on my experiences because I've attached my documents. It is tiring, it is frustrating, but you should just know what you want at the end of the day, and that's what will keep you going. So
Hmm.
I got my opportunity, and I am, two of the opportunities I got, that is the Canada and the US where I am right now. The professors needed students and they made it known. The Canada one I got is from LinkedIn. He made a post about it that he needs a
Okay.
student. This is the project. So I sent him an email. I had an interview with him and it was fantastic. Yeah. But well, I had to cancel
That's
it
amazing.
because
Yeah.
of other factors that I had to put in place and other,
Hmm.
yeah, reasons. So
Wow.
I got that one from LinkedIn. So there are opportunities here. You just have to make sure your documents are in line with what you really want, and you are demonstrating the skills for what you really want or the position that is advertised, because they can advertise the position and you can't just send a general CV that has nothing to do with the position that they're advertising for. So you have to, there are some things you have to like change. There are some things you have to write to suit the position you're applying for so that you can be given a fair chance to at least an interview so that now you
Hmm.
can express yourself. Because I wrote those things, but during the interview, I was now talking about like some of the things, and it was more like a conversation. It wasn't really strict, like tell me your strength, tell me your weakness. No, it was it was more of a conversation, like So what did you do when you were doing this project? So don't lie, you. I'm not saying go and lie that you've done a project that you've not done,
You've
because
not
some
done.
the conversation is around that. So you have to really
Mm,
know what you are talking about. Yeah. And those are some of the things that got me opportunities. And also that Canada opportunity, I it was everything. Like I loved it. I mean the process. Because the professor had to now talk to my supervisor, my mentor, to see if I am actually who I say I am. Do you get it?
mm,
And if you don't have someone like that to speak up for you, if you don't have a recommender like that, you may easily lose such an opportunity. Because why is it that this your supervisor does not want to talk for you? It
mm-hmm,
means maybe there's something wrong, or you are not who you actually say you are, so I can't work with you. But because I had all those things in place, I was able to get that opportunity, but I had to like put it down because I was
mm.
choosing a different opportunity. So yeah, that is how I got my opportunity. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, so this is great. This is why we keep saying that everybody's journey is different and there's not
Yeah.
a one way thing or one way. It's not a one cut fits all when it comes to studying abroad. You've used the cold emails route, which it's very it's it's got its pros and cons, and it can be tedious as well as to finding the various scholarships and or funding out there, and then applying to them. Your Chevening, your
Yeah.
Commonwealth, your Roadies, all these ones that comes every year at a certain time in the year. There's that route, and there's the code emails. To be honest with you, I tell people just don't be fixated on one way. You never
Yeah.
know where your opportunity is going to come from. So if you this is why we do what we do, by the way, and because our guests all have different stories, it's good to hear it, and then that you can also do it this way, or you can also do it that way. So if you've done it
Yeah.
this way before and it's not picked up for you yet, maybe try and find the other way. I know LinkedIn, I've seen a lot of professors actually post or advertise a vacancy in their labs before, and the best we can do is either like and repost it for others to see. But if you're a study abroad or a graduate hopeful, this is what we mean by these events. Don't just listen and then go to bed. Do your research. Put yourself out there. What are you here on LinkedIn for? Are you even following the right people? Are you
Yeah.
listening or consuming the right data or the right information on LinkedIn? Some people, I think, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, I posted something because the first three messages that I read in my inbox, I was like, I can't still be answering to these sort of inbox, because it just shows you're not even ready for graduate school. That's
Yeah.
that's that's how I see it. Because if you're coming to ask me things like what are the eligibility criteria, do I think you should go and do such? No, I don't know because in I don't know. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, and this is not a way to to prevent people from coming into the inbox, but it gets to a point where if this is how you're approaching everybody else, this is probably why you're not getting the answers that you need. Don't ask someone if they think I barely know you or I don't even know you. Let me put it that way. I don't know you. I don't know your background. So if you ask me, is so and so program good for you? I don't know, and that's it. I don't know because I don't know you. I don't know what you want to do in your future. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not
Yes.
a career coach. I share opportunities that I've gone to research myself, and I don't even need these opportunities for me. So if I'm taking the time to research to understand it, and you don't want to or you don't want it, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the question mark. That's You need to ask yourself this question. You need to sit in my seat and then think of it, that if somebody approached you in that way, and this is why I think a lot of people are charging people to give them these information, because people are not ready to go and find these things out there for themselves. So then I will charge you. If I'm charging you, or if you're giving me a fee for me to answer this, I will gladly do it because I'm getting paid for it. But I don't want to go that route because I personally don't think it's nice to do that. However, this is, I think, in my opinion, I think this is why people are charging people money to give
Yeah,
these basic
because
information, because you're not willing to go and read it. Eligibility criteria, come on. Going to the
and
official websites to read and find and understand what you need to write in your SOP, your motivation. So I read a motivational letter and an SOP. And then I realized, I asked the individual, what is it that you're applying to? And I went to the official website to check. And guess what? They didn't need a motivation letter. They didn't need a statement of purpose.
mm, yeah.
It has clearly stated what it is that they needed to do. And they've gone to do their own thing. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
be rejected flat out because they know you've proven to them that you've
You
clearly not
don't
read it.
read. Yeah.
So sometimes you make the whole process difficult for yourself, because not because you're not adequate, not because you're not good. It's just because you're missing the point. You're trying to cut um corners, because you've heard us talk about SOPs. Yeah, these SOPs are things that are common, but every opportunity is different. Every
Yeah.
scholarship or funding is different to what they asking you. But the SOPs, motivational letters, are sort of the common essays that these scholarships or fundings out there would ask. However, it doesn't mean every single opportunity there is asking you for this. Some funding or opportunities will ask you to answer specific essay questions.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're able to do that, you don't even need SOP. You don't need motivational letter. They will just tell you to add your CV, and then your document, your transcript, and those sort of things. So please, we as much as we would love to help you out, help yourself for us to be able to help you out. So you know what? I came in and I just stopped reading the I stopped. I I just went offline, and I said, you know what? I'm already too stressed from work. This is not it. But say
Yeah.
if you were paying me, then I would be motivated to take it. No offense, but it is what it is. You
Yeah.
you need
It
to
is
start
what it
reading, because then if you're going to grad school and then you can't even read an essay question to understand it, you're gonna fail. So
well,
anyway, just needed to
you're
say
not wrong.
that.
No, you're not wrong, but yeah, that is it. Yeah. People go out of
Yeah.
their way to just provide you with something. You have to go the extra mile because after all, you are the one who wants it. You are
Mm,
the one who needs it. So you have to put in the work to get what you want. They
exactly.
can guide and support you, but like 99% of the work must come from you
Mm,
because I don't know you. I don't know how you are going to write your statement of purpose. So you have to write it for maybe me to read through and see, oh, do this way, do this that way. But I won't go and look for the schools that you should apply to for you. And I won't tell you the program to do because I don't know you. Yeah.
I don't even know your career plans, or what even you
Yeah.
studied. I don't know your background. So, and this is why some people lose great mentors, or great
Mm-hmm.
mentor, what's the word I'm looking for here? Prospects, because some people are willing to do this, but then as soon as you come out like that, they first impression is you're not serious, and you're only going to add to their stress. And I know not everybody out there that is willing to help wants to add on unnecessary stress. So don't do it. If you're entering somebody's, especially for the first time, come with specific questions. Like
Yes.
I'm
Be
trying to.
specific.
Oh yeah, I've read into Chevening. They're asking for this aspect. This is how I think about it. Am I right? Like be specific. Or
Mm-hmm.
I've got my essays for Chevening. I'm only using Chevening because that is what a lot of my inbox is about. I've shared. I think I answered or structured how I would answer the essay question. So I'm getting
Yeah.
a whole lot of that sort of things in my inbox. That's why I'm hammering up on that. Some people have done well. I'm not saying everybody is like that, but some people have done well and said, "Oh, I saw your post on this essay topic or this particular thing. This is what I've got. What do you think?" You see, that is very specific. So now I know this is what the person is in for. But if you come and say, "Can you help me with like finding opportunities?" Come on, you're gonna have to pay me because that's a lot to ask on a whole broad of subjects. And come on, man, you're asking a bit too much here. That's not, again, that's
Yeah.
not to say we're not here to help, but come with specific questions, and I know everybody will be eager to help you on that particular thing that you're asking. Anyway, so let's come back on the topic at hand. Um, so moving forward with I think I read something on your page where you said you're not just coming into this field, but you're here to to change it, or yeah,
Yeah.
like as in, yeah. So what should we look out for? Like what what
Uh,
are you looking to change? Is it just women in STEM, or agriculture, engineering itself, or is it something very specific to engineering, or something that is much bigger than engineering?
okay, so I don't really know how to answer that question because I'm not changing engineering or something. Let's say maybe I am bringing some innovation, which
Okay.
I am still training myself in.
Mm-hmm.
And I am more like making a difference mainly because of my background, not
Mm.
because of the field or something. But I am coming into it as someone from this background, making a difference. So it's like from here to here, you get it.
Mm.
So that is basically like what it is about. Like I'm training myself to become like a great person. And also as a woman, obviously, we don't really get, if you're a woman and you're doing something, it's so wow to everybody. Like a woman is doing this, it's so
Mm-hmm.
wow. Yeah, so it's
It is.
it's one
It
of the
is,
pride.
especially in engineering. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the things I pride myself in, like being a woman, and maybe you find yourself in something like this. So those are some of the things. And yeah, and also I don't know, but it's not something big, but hopefully I will bring something big. I don't know, my the plan looks so blurry right now, but
That's
with
fair
time,
enough.
clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I can understand. Right. So, final question, I promise. Women in STEM.
Yeah.
What if say if I don't know how many people are in your lab or in your class or whatever, but what is the ratio with women to men? Is it more women or less, or that would help me to formulate my question properly?
Okay. So I'll just use my undergrad because here I don't really know everyone.
Okay.
So in undergrad, I think we were 22 ladies in a class of
Okay.
130.
That's still quite less. It's less than 50%.
Yeah, it's very less. The ladies were less, like so few. So yeah, and that was just 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, I graduated in 2022, so it's still in the modern world, but the ladies are few compared to the
Hmm.
the guys. So the ratio is still, the gap is still wide.
Right.
But I don't know. I see a lot of ladies here, but I don't know the ratio because I don't know the entire
Class.
population, the
Hmm.
entire class. So I can't really tell. But for my undergrad in my class, which was just the 2022 batch, the ladies were like 22 and the guys were, no, 22 out of the guys were like 108. Or yeah, 108, because
Hmm.
we were actually 136.
Okay.
Yes, we're actually 136. So if, yeah, so it would be like 136 minus 22. So the ladies were 22 and the guys were 114. Yeah, because we're 136. That's
That's
a
a big
lot.
gap.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a very
Wow.
huge gap. We are
It
not even
is.
half. Yeah,
It's a massive gap. Yeah. It is a massive gap.
yeah.
So, well, that comes to my question of women in STEM as the final question. How do you see it? Do you think we're going to get more women interested in, the science, the technology, the engineering, the maths? Do you see more women getting into it? How do you see the future with women in STEM as well in terms of their capabilities, the job roles, the funding out there? Because I know I've come across a few fundings for just women, encouraging women to
Hmm.
go into STEM. So if there's a young girl, listening, and you want to, encourage them to sort of get into the role, what would you tell, or what would you say? What do you think the future is for them?
I don't know, but I always say that like ladies have more opportunities than guys. I don't know, but because I see opportunities where they say priority will be given to females, and I haven't seen an opportunity where they say priorities will be given to male. So, and it's mostly in the STEM fields.
Mm,
So I see like those are some of the things that they are putting in place to make sure a lot of women pursue STEM courses, because you can see a whole scholarship just for women, a whole
mhm.
scholarship just for ladies, a
Yeah.
whole mentorship program just for women to be able to like maybe upgrade their skills and have this IT skills and all those kind of things. And those are things that they are putting in place. And STEM is gradually growing. I think it is even dominating. I don't know the ratio, so I can't really say it is dominating, but I believe it is because it is everywhere. Nurses, when you go to, they are all STEM courses: science, technology, engineering, maths. So everything, calculation, science, health, they are all STEM courses. And if you're a woman pursuing science, because we find, especially in engineering and mathematics, we find very few women doing it. So when you become the one of the few that are doing it, that is when you are able to secure the opportunities out there. Yes. So I believe, I don't know, but I believe they are putting a lot of things in place, and now they are trying to make sure women rise to higher positions to ensure that things are like we have fair, like those gender balance, gender equality, and all those kind of things. So now you see women being the head of departments, women taking this position, women taking this role. And those are some of the things that should inspire some of the ladies to go in. Me, I wanted to, so let me go back a little. In my department back in Ghana, in agricultural and biosystems engineering department, we had only one female lecturer, and she was even a part-time lecturer. So it was one of the things that like pushed me. I wanted to at least be the best. If I'll not even be the best in the class, I'll be the best female. And I became the best female. Yeah, so it was one of the things that was pushing me. Like when I realized that they are taking notice of me, I really wanted to finish so that I'll become a TA. But my batch, we had like three female TAs, which does not happen. We usually get maybe one or two TAs. Or sometimes they don't even have a female TA. So we were three TAs in my batch. And my dream, I don't know what will happen, but my dream was to finish and go back to Ghana to become a female lecturer in my department. Yes, so it is one of
Mm.
the things, but I don't know. But I would definitely go back to Ghana and teach, but I'm not, I don't know. I don't want to say anything on camera right now because I'm on live. But yeah, it's one of the things that I really want to do because I sometimes want to see myself like being different, being odd, being like, so that when they call your name, they're like, yeah, that's Nadia. She is maybe the one here. You get it. So, yeah, those are some of the things that really pushed me, and there are a lot of opportunities in STEM for women. Yeah. I think if wise having network issues. Okay. Uh, okay, so I don't know what to say because I'm done answering that question. But yeah, those are some of the things that I look out for. I don't know, but hopefully I'll be maybe a lecturer in Ghana, but the future is still Blair at the moment, and we are looking for the plans God have in place for us. Yeah. Hello, Ifwa. Thank you. I don't know what's happening to Ifwa's network, but yeah. Yeah, I think Ifwa is having some issues, so let me just give my final words, then we can end this session. So I'd say, let me just give my. There are lots of opportunities for women. I don't know, but we have lots of opportunities than the guys, though. Yes, so there are lots of opportunities for women, and they are mostly in the STEM field. So yeah, you. I would advise the ladies. It may seem maybe difficult because of calculations and learning all those big science terms, but it's actually worth it. And with time, you pick it up. You just have to love what you are doing, and with time, you pick it up. Yeah. So there are lots of opportunities. You just have to look for them, and you just have to find them. And also, studying abroad, it opens you to a lot of opportunities. But as I said, you still have to fish them out. Otherwise, you'll be here, you'll be blank, you wouldn't know what is going on, you wouldn't be able to find anything. So I am available. I'm just a bit busy this fall, but you can send me an email, connect with me if you have any questions about maybe studying abroad or grad school, especially in the US, and I have an answer to your question, I can answer you. Otherwise, I'll refer you to someone who can answer you. And also, if you would like me to review your statement of purpose, your CV, or something, feel free, send me a DM. I'll look at my schedule and I'll do that. So, have a great evening, yeah, or day, or afternoon, depending on wherever you are. And we'll be in touch. Bye.